Hey gang, we are outside of Lily Lace, which is a little antique shop here in Orlando, and inside you'll find something a little odd. That's right, Prometheus Esoterica, the oddities market, is located inside Lily and Lace. We're gonna head on in, we're gonna talk to the awesome couple behind it and show you guys some really cool stuff that is available for purchase here locally in Orlando. She is one of the amazing people behind Prometheus Esoterica, which is all of these wonderful, amazing things. And I wanted her to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the stuff that they offer here. And today we're going to go over this amazing box of all kinds of hodgepodgey, creepy goodness. So tell us pick out some of these pieces here that are interesting. I know we were just talking about this little glass piece here.
So in here, we have this Victorian cut glass perfume bottle, hand cut. It has a sterling silver top to it, and there's a kind of a folklore to it that during the mourning period of a Victorian lady, she would cry into this, and then once the tears evaporated, she was allowed to stop mourning. But they actually did a scientific test and did a swab, and they found no residue of salt or anything like that into it. So it is definitely, just a word of mouth type of thing, but it's still fun to believe that maybe that was something that they did.
Right.
And it's just a beautiful piece in general. It's huge too on top of it. And another piece I would say that was one of my favorites in here is the Victorian hair jewelry. So this is actually most likely someone's loved one's hair that they had made into a watch fob that a gentleman would probably take during his work when he wasn't near his wife anymore. They would bring it to a jeweler's and they would have it fashioned into that for them. A lot of people think that it's all just mourning jewelry, and a lot of it was more of just trinkets. If you found anything that was a brooch that had black on it, though, that would tell you that it was a mourning piece.
Oh, okay.
And if you found something that had the white on it, it would tell you that it was for a child that they were mourning.
Oh, so, wow. Okay, yeah. Did not know that.
And a lot of it, hair jewelry has been around since like the 1600s, but it didn't get really popular until Victoria, Queen Victoria.
Yes.
Because when her love of their life, Albert, died, she just went into a dark, dark, dark place. And she was all about fashion. So she decided to show her depression and love for him on the outside and became a staple. So everyone wanted to be her, wanted to do what she was doing, and they started doing the whole Victorian hair pieces. So they had it in rings, they had it in brooches, the fob watches, the big frames of all the different families, things like that. So,
and you don't see that stuff anymore. It's not something that's actively practiced anymore. So when you find these type of pieces, it's really cool to find out that history and where that came from and how that started. And then, they're beautiful pieces.
Thanks, yeah. And something that I've never seen before, these actually the Victorian buttons that would go on someone's blouse. And inside of that is woven hair. It's super intricate.
Now, are those hard to find?
Yeah, I've never seen them before. I actually kept two for myself. I was like, yeah, this is coming in my collection.
I need these. So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I noticed too that you have the plate here.
Yeah, it would be on a casket, and it says "Our Darling," so it would be a child's casket.
Okay.
And then right next to it, we actually have an ambrotype of a post-mortem of a child. So it's actually, the image is on glass, which is why it's pretty decayed. But it's a beautiful piece, and underneath it actually has the writing of one of their family members handing it down to someone else, and who it was and everything. So those are my favorite pieces that actually come with a bit of history.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
And I don't see those very often. Like, you can find, like, if you go on eBay or Google or whatever, you can easily find the pictures, but you can't find them.
Like an ambrotype or tintype. You know,
right.
Those are a little more on the rare side and more fun to find. So.
And they're hard to find.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, we have a little Mod Podge, you know, of macabre things in here. So we always get new things and try to keep it spiced up for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know we're going to talk
welcome.
about some other pieces, so let's kind of mosey on around and see what
Heck
else we can find. So joining me now is going to be Adam. He is the gentleman behind the woman behind Prometheus Esoterica. Yes. And I wanted to have him talk about this giantly amazing raccoon piece that they've put together. So I know we were talking earlier and you were telling me that all of these animals, from the butterfly to the little bugs in the back, these are all actually were at one time live animals.
Yeah, so all of our animal specimens that we work with directly are ethically sourced. Like this raccoon here was hit in the road right outside of my neighborhood, and we actually go through the process of skinning the animal. We deflesh it, and we use a maceration water process to clean the bones and then re-articulate them together. And then the little butterfly here was actually floating in my mother-in-law's swimming pool. And the little beetle here we found dried in our yards, and we'll rehydrate them and pose them so they look like they're crawling around. And we got the little artificial floral in there, and we just kind of wanted to do something different as opposed to just a regular skeleton articulation, to kind of show like the natural process of decay and kind of how that plays into the ecosystem, and it brings things back. And you know, so like, yeah, the raccoon dies and then all the nutrients go into the soil and all the flowers come back out, and then all the insects obviously feed off of the flowers, and then the birds eat the flowers, and then the raccoons eat the birds, and it's the circle of life. And death is a big part of that. You know, people don't think about, people always kind of shy away from death, but death is a part of life, and without this animal's death,
there
the
could
life cycle
be no
couldn't
new
start.
flowers.
Exactly.
And it's definitely a very awesome and amazing piece. And something like this that you guys do, I know you personally have a hand in it. How long does that take you to do from start to finish, from getting your specimen to prepping it to defleshing it and getting all the hair and everything else off
Sure.
and getting it ready to actually display in something like this?
So from road to finished product can either be a period of at least 6 weeks up to several months, just depending on a lot of factors, depending on the weather, depending on how much time we have to pay attention to it. Actual articulation process on an animal like this is going to take maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, as far as putting, once the bones are clean, putting it back together and things like that.
Wow. Well, this is an awesome piece, and this is something that you guys, of course, also sell here, which I think is fantastic. So someone come by this before I do, because I want to buy all the things, let's just put it this way. But this is a really cool piece. We're going to continue on moseying and talk about some other fun stuff. So thank you so much. And yeah, he's a cool little guy. Alright, so again, I've got the amazing Whitney with me, and she's got this super cool antique embalming table. Now, tell us a little bit about this table. It looks like it's old school. Again, it's got that beautiful wood. I see some little carvings in there. Yeah, give us some info on this bad boy.
So we just got this piece. It's a Champion Chemical brand, and it would be for embalming or displaying, you know, the bodies in people's houses for when they passed away, back when they did that and they didn't think about germs or grossness or anything of that stuff.
No disease.
So I would say it's about, you know, like mid 18 to late 1800s. It definitely has a good patina and wear to it, which gives it that macabre feeling that I love, you know. And the really fun part of it is that you can actually fold it up into a little briefcase.
That's awesome.
So, you know, you could have it as like a coffee table if you wanted to.
Right.
Or, you know, a guest bedroom thing so they don't stay long.
Right? Like, what's this? Oh, don't worry about it.
We definitely dressed it up to show what the potential of it is. You know, you can put your skelly on top of it, you know, and we also have different sick call pieces that you could do exorcisms or last rites if someone passes away, things like that. This is an old Victorian piece here too, so it's just overall it's great, and you can actually prop up the head more or less depending on the person who died on it. It also comes haunted apparently.
It does now.
But it's probably one of my second favorite pieces that we have. Just it's in great condition for how old it is.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, and even like the legs. I mean, you don't really see much wear and tear on the legs of the thing, and normally something that's this old, it's scuffed. It's got a little scrapage to it. It's got some dings and some bends, and I mean, it looks like it's in like really, really good shape. Now, how often do you guys come across something like this, like a wooden embalming table? Is
Not
this something
often.
that's very rare to find?
Especially in Florida. I would say something like this is really tough to find. We actually had it shipped down to us.
Oh, nice.
So,
where did it originate from?
This one was in Chicago.
Okay.
So a lot of things like that are easier to find up north. So when we bring them down here, it's a little bit more fun to find because it's harder to find any of these types of things down in Florida. It's just most people come here versus, you know, growing up their whole entire life here. So it's a beautiful piece and one of my, you know, favorites that we have now that we just brought it in. It's just a great display to have in someone's house.
Oh, yeah.
A very good talking piece.
It's on my list of things to get. JD and I were talking earlier, and he's like, so what do you want to take home, honey? I'm like, the embalming table or the coffin? And right now, not right today, but someday I'm going to own an embalming table, and it's going to be in my living room.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, They had these, you know, during the 1800s when they would go to the person's house and prep it and let people mourn over it. But then towards, you know, the early 1900s, they stopped doing that because they
realize that it's
the
probably
whole
not
germ
the
thing. They were against that. You know, there was a big no, and then you started having the funeral homes, and then they charged for that, and realized there was a whole business in that. So they veered away from doing in-home stuff from there. So, but that's why it was all in a whole little nice suitcase.
Yeah, you just take
bring
it with you, and you're good to go. So, I mean, something like this. I know we talked a little bit about it as far as like how many bodies do you think this thing actually saw?
I couldn't even start to think about how many would be, but I would definitely say a lot, because there is some, you know, wear into the wood here and there, but it's, you know, it definitely was used. It wasn't something that was hidden back in.
Did somebody just stuck it in their storage closet and was
we'll
like,
use this maybe one day, you know. No, this is definitely a used piece, and I could imagine a couple hundred bodies
more.
Definitely at scene for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're so
I
welcome.
appreciate you chatting with us today, and hopefully you guys
come
education.
on down.
But yes, come down, check out all their things. It really is. There's so much more to see than what I've showed you guys. But yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so Adam's got this amazing piece that he's holding. We were talking a few minutes earlier. This is actually a birthing chair. Tell us a little bit about this bad boy.
So we get a lot of questions about kind of what, like, people are always looking for that haunted item or that thing that's got the most energy, and I always kind of point them towards this item, because you wouldn't think of a birthing chair as being like more morbid than like an embalming table or something like that.
Right.
But this chair is from probably 1890 to 1910.
Wow.
You can tell by all the wear on it that it was used quite a few times. So not only did a lot of lives begin in this chair, but this was also a period of time where 1 in 10 women died in childbirth.
So it got a lot of death.
A lot of people probably died in this chair as a result of complications from birthing. It's a really fun piece. It has a lot of great wear and provenance. As far as if you're looking for something that's got a lot of history to it and has a lot of kind of morbid attachments to it, this is definitely the piece I would point people towards.
And it's definitely something like when we walked in and we were kind of looking around at some things, I was like, it almost looks like a kiddie's chair, like something you would put your toy on, or a little kid would be like, I'm gonna sit here and watch TV. But no, this is where babies happen.
This is where you hold on for dear life, literally.
And I mean, and death too. I mean, could you imagine? Just that's the last thing that you sat on, that you held on to as you were trying to give birth to a little one, and things like you said back then. I mean, it probably saw more death than it did life. So that's a very, very interesting piece. And it's something that now you guys do sell this piece. This isn't just like a display thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, look what we have.
Everything is for sale.
Okay, awesome. So come spend all of your money, all of it, and buy all of the really cool things. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking a moment to chat with me about your, I'm going to call it the spooky birthing chair, because that just makes me feel happy. Because, yeah, spooky.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so thank you so much for chatting with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for coming.
And yeah, so get down here. Check out their shop. I know you guys said that you're moving too, right?
Yep.
Like June-ish?
Probably open in July.
Okay.
So June 29th, we're having our oddities market at Hourglass Brewery in Longwood. So definitely check that out. It'll be from 11 to 7. We'll have all the best oddities vendors from around the state there.
Awesome.
We'll also have tacos and beer.
Yeah.
Tacos and beer.
And then right after that, in the beginning of July, our whole shop is moving to 436 between Halp Ranch and Aloma, right in the plaza with Art Systems.
Nice.
So definitely come see us once we've reopened. We'll have way more stuff.
Okay, and you guys that whole area is going to be a lot bigger too, because I know here you have like the 2 booths towards the back of the shop, and you were saying that you're going to expand
it's like
that
the
outwards.
whole back third of the shop.
Awesome. Very cool. So, alright, that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, keep it spooky.
Spooky.